The time has come. It is the week before Christmas, and I'm actually a little sick, but I have officially run out of time to film this. So we're doing it. The first ever rock record recap. So this year was actually the first year doing the rock record, which is pretty crazy to me. I set out just to talk about rocks and showcase some of the cool geology around me. Never expected it to grow the way it did or get to share some of the stories that I got to share. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of behind the scenes, talk a little bit about why we chose the stories that we chose this first year, give you some sneak peeks for videos you haven't seen yet, and maybe think about what you want to see in 2025. As a geologist, I've kind of always been fascinated by the stories written in stone, and I've always wanted to try and share them. Now, obviously, through my life media, it's part of my job to be able to communicate these stories effectively, but I'm not a great storyteller. So my whole goal was to start making longer form videos, aside from just TikToks, about these stories, work on my production skills, my storytelling skills, my video editing skills, etc., to better serve my clients, right? I never intended this to just be like a series. That was my 2024 New Year's resolution, was just to learn. So obviously I have a love of mining and geology, but my goal was to share these stories to encourage people as they're traveling around to think outside of just the best Instagram photo or, oh, this place is cool, but really think about what the stories in the earth are trying to tell us. I wanted to help them see the world as I do through my eyes, which is like ancient stories. But little did I know just how much I would learn about storytelling, video editing, and how not to drop rocks on your phone while filming through this series. So it's just been so exciting and such an honor to share it with you this year. All right, so let's go back through it here. Let's start with January, which honestly was as far as I planned out last December. Did not plan anything further than January. I knew right about Christmas last year that I would spend part of the January in Minnesota. And while I was there, and it was the perfect place to kick off this rock record series and longer form videoing, I toured the Soudan mine, which is one of my more popular videos this year, especially since I was one of the first people to tour it since 2020, and one of the last because it actually flooded this summer, which is so crazy. I put a post out on LinkedIn to see if anyone wanted to go with me. Luckily, a bunch of geology friends that I'd never met before, random strangers, showed up to go on this mine tour with me. It actually cost me quite a bit of money because I had to pay for 10 people, even though I think 5 or 6 of us went. And I also had to get a filming permit, which was my first experience getting a filming permit, especially since this is again, the first YouTube video I was really making. So I was like, this is crazy. But it was a fantastic experience. It was so cold that day. I was so glad to get underground. I actually started off the day going to the banded iron formation that is near the Soudan mine. And having to brush it off with my snow brush just to be able to get my video. It was my first time seeing a banded iron formation outcrop. I've seen little rocks, but this was my first time seeing a whole outcrop. And I would love to go back when it's not snowing so that I can see it full in person. But I did get to see it underground, which was so cool. My microphone died and I don't know where it died at. So we're just gonna go with it. So if you've been watching all 2024, you've definitely seen a lot of videos from Montana, obviously my home base, and it has been such a joy to get to experience Montana through this kind of storytelling lens that I'm trying to see, because obviously I've spent a lot of time looking at Montana geology myself, but trying to convey what I see and the stories that I see in the rocks to an audience online has been a really interesting challenge, and I have loved some parts of it, like getting to go to Bighorn Canyon for the first time. I can't believe I've lived here pretty much my whole life and never been to Bighorn Canyon. But it also had some challenges, like agate hunting. Most of you know that I am a geologist, not a rock hound, and everybody told me, oh, agate hunting is so easy and it's so much fun, it's great, so even the kids can do it. I did not find a single agate in that video. I spent 2 days filming it and 15 hours editing it just to not have any agates to show for it. You all loved the Montana sapphires video, which I was not expecting. I went into that camping trip totally expecting to not film anything. I didn't take any of my equipment, All I had was my phone, a little bit of knowledge of the area, and really no plans. So I didn't take any of this because even though it's a great mining area that has a lot of history, like I didn't think anything would be open during that time of year. So when I drove by and saw that the sapphire panning place was open, I was so excited. And you all love that video. It blew up more than anything I could imagine. It's still my most popular video. So I'm hoping to do more of those kind of videos with you all, just to show you the cool things. I actually, hopefully in 2025, hopefully have a special Montana gem type video. Fingers crossed for that word, and keep an eye out. So moving on to the summer months, I actually made kind of a dumb but also good decision to snag a Southwest Companion Pass by flying to Las Vegas for the day just to experience Valley of Fire State Park, which is stunning, is beautiful. I highly recommend it. I hope to spend more time there sometime, but maybe don't go hiking when it's 100 degrees. Once I finally got the rental car, which was like a whole ordeal, driving into the park, there's like a sign that said, warning, like, you might die. And I was like, oh, was this a good idea? Should I have gone to Hoover Dam or kayaking instead? But we did it anyways, and it was a ton of fun. So the Valley of Fire video actually is what made the Hawaii trip possible, because I had points and a companion pass for that. I also had family who has a house in Hawaii and they let us stay. So it was super cheap, and allowed me to film, which is good because I spent $150 on a filming permit for Hawaii Volcanoes National Park because technically I have a commercial operation. Again, filming permits are really an interesting part of the experience this year. So for this video, I got to return to Hawaii Volcanoes National Park for the first time since 2016, I think is the last time I was there. And it is such a cool reminder of how dynamic our planet is. So much had changed from the last time I was there because they had a big earthquake and eruption and stuff in 2018. So there was so much different. When I went, the Chain of Craters Road was actually closed because there was an eruption, and I got to go biking and hiking to actually go see the lava up close and personal, and it was amazing. But this year, when we went, it was open, so it was really cool to actually be able to do that. And then we also got to do what used to be the Crater Rim Loop. It used to go all the way around. My roadside geology book of Hawaii actually has the whole geology all around the loop. Turns out it's not a loop anymore. It's just a path. So it's the Crater Rim Drive is what it is now. We also visited Mauna Kea, which is the tallest mountain on Earth when measured from its oceanic base. It's actually taller than Mount Everest. And I had this whole plan for this video where I was going to be standing on the top of Mauna Kea and being like, I summited the tallest mountain on Earth, and that was going to be the whole intro hook for the video. And due to some misinformation, poor planning, etc., we didn't actually get up to the top. And yes, I did cry. But after that, the whole video fell apart. I actually didn't plan on showing it to anyone. But I had to pull a video together for one of the month's rock records. And I was like, well, I guess we're sharing another story of failure here on the rock record. First, it was the failure to find agates, and it was the failure to summit Mauna Kea. So, again, lots of opportunities and lots of challenges this year on the rock record. So off the continental USA chunk seems to be a theme this year, because not only did we go to Hawaii, but we also went to Alaska. And this was my first time visiting Alaska, and I seriously cannot wait to go back. The mining history here is incredible, and I actually planned a video for over 2 months to follow in the footsteps of the Klondike Gold Rush. So I started in Seattle, filmed at the historic park there for the Klondike Gold Rush. Then, we cruised up and then did the White Pass Summit, which was so cool. We did that train, and you got to see the old trail of 98 and stuff, and it's amazing. And how proud they are of their mining heritage is really cool, at least in that section, right? There's still lots of active mining going on in that area, and it was just a joy to see. I also got to take a pretty one-of-a-kind mine tour. I've never taken one like this before, and it was really fascinating to me. So it was an augmented reality mine tour, and basically you had this iPad and you would move it around and it would show you different parts of this historic mining operation that's no longer there. There are bits and pieces and stuff around, but it really made it come to light, and it showed me how like technology can help tell the story of these operations, or really anything, right? So that really got my brain turning around. How could this be used to not only help tell the story of like current mining, but also maybe future rock records, right? So we'll see how that goes. So that kind of leads us up to the last couple of months of things that you've already seen, or hopefully already seen. If you haven't seen them, go back and watch them. Most of these videos have the full video and the TLDRs out. So if you have time to watch the full video, I would really love that. If you don't have time, watch the TLDRs. I think my longest one is 7 minutes. My goal is to keep those under 5 minutes. And I will be continuing those into the new year for people who don't have time or just don't want to watch the full rock record. But beyond that, we have still been filming. So I just released my first Industry Insider video with Brenton International, which is the geologic compass brand. They let me stop down on my way to a conference and literally took up over half of their day doing interviews, meeting their team, checking out the manufacturing process. I wanted to frame it as like a how it's made kind of video, but it ended up me just being really excited and losing my whole production plan and just filming as I was filming. So it's kind of more of a POV video. I was so really excited about it, and I'm still so stoked that they let me stop by. During that same trip, I actually stopped at a top secret project that we still don't have permission to share yet. So I'm in the process of putting a video together. That's going to have to be sent for approval. And then hopefully it gets approved to share with you all. But it is a top secret mine tour. I think I can say that much. But it was very cool. And so hopefully I get to share that with you. Keep an eye out for like February and March for that one. Right after that conference that I was at, I actually flew over to Great Britain, which I was definitely not expecting to do this year. I was planning on keeping it pretty low key. But I was selected to be part of the 2024 Women in Mining 100, which is like every couple of years, Women in Mining UK puts this whole list together of global inspirational women in mining. You're nominated, you go through a whole selection process. And so I was one of like 570 women, I think, that was nominated, and one of the 100 selected from around the world. So that was so cool. And of course, I had to go to that event because I wasn't going to miss something like that. But it also meant a week traveling around Great Britain. We have that full vlog coming up in January, but I structured it so each little piece will also be a TLDR. So the full vlog, you'll get to see lots of behind the scenes with my friend and I, which I think is pretty hilarious. Maybe we shouldn't travel together because lots of things happen. But then we'll also have each of the TLDRs that you can watch in segments. So I'm pretty excited about that one. And yeah, I think that's kind of what we have coming out Q1 for 2025. 2025, I actually plan on slowing down a bit. I plan on still putting out videos, probably just not quite as often as I have been. It takes a lot more time and effort than I thought to film these videos. So on average, it takes between 10 to 14 hours to script out, film, edit, post, and then repurpose, like for Instagram story, reels and stuff. But it takes a lot of time to do this. So obviously my channel is not monetized, so it's going back to focus on my business, but this is something that I find a lot of joy in. And so I hope to continue sharing with you in the new year. I'm also hoping that will mean that we'll focus on quality over quantity. So I've got some new equipment that I'm excited to try out, and hopefully that'll result in some cool videos, maybe some higher quality videos. As always, if there's something you want to see on the rock record, someplace you maybe traveled that was really popular, but you wanted to know the geologic story behind it, or someplace that's off the beaten path that you think the world should know about, let me know. Obviously, we're not into sharing trade secrets here, so if you can get all your secret spots. But if there's some place that has a really cool story or really interesting geologic features, I want to know about it. Except national parks, because I am not paying for any more permits. So I just want to say thank you to you all for making this first year of the Rock Record so special. We are almost at 900 subscribers now, which is about 800 more than I expected. Many of it is thanks to that Sapphire video, so if you subscribed for that video and have been sticking around, I really appreciate that. Hopefully we'll have more of that kind of stuff coming up soon. But all of your nice comments, your suggestions, your engagement and enthusiasm has really made this whole year of filming special. It's kept me going, and I found some places that I probably wouldn't have otherwise from you all. So remember, there are amazing stories written in the stones all around us. Sometimes you just need to know where to look. So welcome 2025. Here is to a new year, more stories written in the stone, and more talking about rocks. Thank you all.